Ash says, Dylan, you look AFK. I have no idea what AFK means. Away from keyboard? What does that mean?
Well, I don't know. Maybe because you're looking over here, he doesn't think you're paying attention. I don't know. It's a sign.
Okay, so that was Martin. And the next coming out is... There's only 6 guys, remember, so... Next we have, I better pull up the list so I don't get these guys' names wrong. Okay, because I think this guy is making a pro debut. No, that's Ron Gordon. I do know him. Gabriel Garepi. Okay. I think maybe he has already competed as a pro, maybe not. How's the black backdrop and lighting? It looks good. And not only just the black backdrop and the lighting is making a big difference, the lighting is good. Like, all the stage production things are good, but they got Gilco Productions to do this live stream. Like, Gilco has their logo up in the corner. This is the best live stream I've ever seen. So, I was a little upset paying $30 for it because I thought, well, you do get all the amateur divisions, but I'm not going to watch that, respectfully. But for the open, I thought just for one division, $30 is kind of steep. But now that I'm seeing what goes into it, I'm okay with it, to be honest. As long, it's probably used to go with this higher quality of lighting, and of course, you had Gilco filming this. All right, so good Veto's coming out now. I think he's still, again, I think Martin and him are probably the same level of condition, but Good Vito in a couple of areas, like the legs, of course, he's just more separated, and he looks drier. I think he was a little bit drier in the Arnold Brazil, but he had conditioning to spare there. Back, not as good as Martin's. His back has a lot of thickening up to do. But yeah, from the bottom down, he's absolutely fine. But he's still very, very conditioned. Like what we saw at the Arnold Brazil, no one was expecting, neither including me. But yeah, it's different lighting. So this is probably true to how he actually looks. But I think he was overall. I think with the fullness and with the lighting and things, I kind of like Good Vito here more than I did at the Arnold Brazil. Because I think he did need to be a little more full um, in South America. But I think they were pushing for that conditioning, so I don't think they wanted to. Now the big wild card is Justin. Right now, Ron Gordon's coming out. Still needs to bring up the legs, but he's a tall dude, so actually, the legs are okay. I just want to see them a bit wider. Ron kind of looks a little awkward at this point in time when he hits certain shots because he has a big frame to fill out, and now that he's not, he's getting around to it. But some things still look a little lanky, just a little, enough to throw it off a little bit. But yeah, side chest looking great. He has a lot of 3D roundness, very round, very full, so he looks bigger than he is. But I'd honestly tell him to get even bigger. I think his frame could definitely handle it. Honestly, if Ron is looking this good as they push these guys, and Justin, for example, is really off, which he's the wild card here, I think we can't expect Ron to take that third place if Justin drops the ball bigly yet again. It's because it flagged me for also using it on my phone because I had it open in my in my tab. Ruh-roh. Okay. And then this guy is that Williams? No. No, 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 no. It's Harry Harris. Yeah. And this is going to be his pro debut? Okay, no, it was Gabriel's pro debut. It is not Harry's pro debut, but I thought Harry was definitely making his pro debut here. So I don't. I think this guy that posted maybe have got it wrong. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, the biggest thing like I've heard about Harry going into the show was he's not going to be as big. He doesn't have the top pro level of size, which I mean we haven't seen him next to the other guys yet, but I think he looks pretty big here. I don't know how tall he is, so that's going to factor in, but I think he looks maybe not top open level of size, sure, but enough for this show. I think so. Again, I'm waiting to see him next to the other guys though. Can I think? That's five. Yeah, that's five, and then we're just gonna have Justin, and then that's the lineup, unfortunately. All right, Justin, big wild card. There's no reason he can't win the show. It's just we don't see that package from him anymore. Okay, so the delts are not looking clean, I guess, for lack of a better term. Yeah, midsection is not there. Yo, it's Crimson Carousel. Yeah, Ryan, I'll throw up screenshots once they all get together on stage. Actually, if I can. If I can. Because it flagged me earlier. Yeah, I will try to get some screenshots though of the initial call outs. Okay. So they're gonna bring them all out now for quarter turns. Or perhaps because the lineup is already so thin, they already know. And it also could just be stuck to one call out since there is just six people. All right. Okay, they're shifting them around. Yeah, it sounds like they're moving Martin, Justin, Good Vito, and Ron in the center. But they're still going through the quarter turns. Martin looks really good. Martin can keep his midsection in. Justin, not so much. Good Vito, he just doesn't have a whole lot going on in the abs, especially when he's not like constantly flexing them. They just look a bit bare. Crimson, that the black backdrop looks absolutely crazy. Ash, who is Justin's coach, he switched. He did. He was competing with Abdullah in for the Arnold's, but then literally just a month later, he's back to getting coached by Justin Jacoby. Martin or Vito, in your opinion? Well, they're just starting to pose now, so I'll really be able to see here. Okay. Martin definitely looks, I would say, a little more complete than Good Vito because Good Vito may have him in the legs. I prefer them to chop this down to a 3 or 4 man call out so I can get a closer look. But Good Vito may have him in the legs, but Martin is looking pretty pretty a lot more developed at least. And also he Martin does not have the structure of Good Vito though. Good Vito is like in that front lat spread. He's extremely wide, even wider than Martin. Yeah, I think this is actually. I really want them to chop it down, but it looks pretty close. Like I expected Martin to come in here and win this pretty easily, but Good Vito is just so wide structurally and does fill out the frame, even if it is with slightly less mature muscle. That he's getting close to Martin. But now they're moving Martin and Vito. They're still in the center, but they switched them around. And then on either side of them, you have Justin Rodriguez and Ron Gordon. So that's probably going to be your top four. Did Martin's arms improve? Yes, I think they look a little bit improved. I want Martin to lose. I want him to take. I want him to be 2x controversial, 2 times more racist, 2 times talking to social media to complain. You love to see it. You love to see it. Down this front lat spread, I'd probably go with Good Vito. Like he is just so much wider than everyone on stage. Even with Justin's like synthol shoulders, like making him wider than he is, he's wider than Justin. He's wider than everyone. In the side chest, I'd go with Martin. Now on the back between the two, that's clearly an easy win for Martin. Good Vito's not even beating Justin Rodriguez because Justin has always had a good back. This is the best show period. In terms of stage production and anything, this is like one of the best shows I've seen in years, quite frankly. Um, why doesn't every show do this? Why doesn't every show get Gilco to do their live stream? Why don't you get a black backdrop? Um, at the very minimum, the live stream quality can be replicated at every single show. Book Gilco or somebody else. There are other people that do it, not just Gilco, but book him at every single one of the shows. There's really not an issue. Texas may be good, but in terms of like stage production, this is clearly like the best show I've seen. Justin Rodriguez will always just be another Juan Morel to me. That's actually a very fair comparison. Yeah, what happened there?
Okay, so Tyler has kind of decided.
Okay, so they just took Vito and Martin off the stage, so that leaves your back four, so sixth to third, in some order: Gabriel Greppi, Ron Gordon, Justin Rodriguez, and Harry Harris. Yeah, Crimson, I will probably hit record once the top two come out. So yeah, it looks like all of you that predicted that Good Vito and Martin would be the top two, unfortunately, are correct for Justin at least. Justin just couldn't pull it off yet again. I mean, he he'll we'll see if he can beat Ron Gordon. He should. If he doesn't get the win over Ron Gordon, at least that says something. You can't play the audio. No, because they're playing a bunch of copyrighted music in the background. Unfortunately, I was listening to it earlier. Fatality champion, maybe. Yeah, it's just really unfortunate that this show has all this production behind it, and nobody else shows up. Good Vito champion, easy, easy. Well, they're gonna bring those. They're gonna bring Martin and Vito back out soon. Owen, the lighting looks absolutely crazy. Like I said, I don't know if you were here, but in terms of actual lighting for any pro show that I've seen so far, it is the best all year. And probably will continue to be the best all year. Some shows will have better lineups for sure, but I don't see any show beating this because shows just refuse to do black backdrops and actually properly light a show. All right, here is Martin. Martin and good Veto. Front double, this being a structure pose, not only is good Veto winning, but he's winning by a lot. His arms are pretty good, and his structure is just so much better than Martin's. It's the same with the front lat. Like, these are structure poses. They lend themselves to guys with better structures. And although Martin is like thickly developed, so he's not getting beat too badly, I just prefer Veto structure. In the side chest, it's not as dominant as a win as for Martin as I thought it would be. Martin also looks like a chemo patient. Like he shaved his head before this, and he looks it's a little rough. Now in the back, Martin does start cleaning up because he just has so much. There's just so much more meat there in his back. But at the same time, I expected better condition from Martin, especially in the upper body. In the lower body, he's always fine, but in the upper body, I just want to see him a bit more dry and separated. Imagine the Olympia lineup on the stage. Yeah, it would be crazy. But I mean, they'd prefer to have smoke machines and huge stages to be an event rather than a bodybuilding show. Side tricep, I would go with Martin. Good Vito's tricep is just kind of skinny. The abs and thighs is a close post. Both guys have great quads and okay abs. Martin's pulling the vacuum. I imagine they'll run these guys again after this most muscular. Yeah, so they're going to flip them, and they're going to run through the poses again. Yeah, this is definitely tough. I do have good Veto strongly in the front double yet again. Gabriel Greppy may get sixth. His waist was really big, and he was sweating. Front double, front lat, I'd probably also give to Veto. Not by as much as the front double, though. Side chest goes to Martin, although good Veto is extremely wide. He just doesn't have the density and the detail in the pecs and the shoulders. But he's getting close. In the back, it is Martin, the back double. But I mean, like, this should be a more conclusive win. Like, I expected more improvement in Martin's back, to be honest, because it was already kind of a strong point for him. Who do you have winning? I'll make that call after I see this call out. And then in the rear lat, I may actually have good Veto, and that's like a big nail in the coffin for Martin. So right now I have it 3-1. I'd give Martin the side tricep for borderline the same reasons as the side chest. Just a little more thickly developed and dense. Better tricep for sure. And then in the abs and thighs, I kind of like Martin a little bit more. But really not by much. Like, if you had good Veto winning, because he has great quads, and the abs on both guys are just kind of meh. But I would give that to Martin. That makes it 3 for 3. Or no, I missed a pose. Let's see. And then I'd give Martin the most muscular. So I think that actually makes it 4 to 4. Good Veto takes the 2 front ones. The rear lat spread. So that'd make it 3. And then I'd give Martin the side shots, rear double, most muscular abs and thighs. So I have Martin narrowly winning in the mandatories. And I also, I don't know. If Vito's chest was as developed as his legs, yeah. I may have Martin leading here slightly after prejudging. And that's it. Everyone's getting up and leaving. Okay. Let's throw up some. Let's wait for some of these higher quality photos to come out. Is there any live? There is a live stream. It's $30. It's on the Detroit Pro website. Oh, important question. Who is the head judge? I think it may be Steve. I know Tyler is there. Tyler is there. I didn't hear Steve. I didn't hear who was calling the poses because I muted the audio for myself as well, because there was copyrighted music for it, so I didn't get to hear it. But I know Tyler is there, and usually where Tyler is, Steve. I mean, I don't know, because it's not a major show. I'll fact check that. Okay. Nothing out there yet. I will check Gilco because they'll have some high quality footage, I imagine, pretty soon. They were the ones literally filming it. It's not going to let me go back on the live stream and check to see who the head judge was. But I do know Tyler Mannion was one of them. So nothing here yet. No. Detroit story may have something too. Yeah, you're right. Let me check Detroit's story. Not quite. Let me see if anybody filmed for Martin or if he's tagged anything yet. Oh, there's my post. No, not currently. Is Vito's tan better here? Yeah, definitely. Way too dark in Brazil. Didn't have that problem this time around. EP was saying, I was thinking that this is going to be the... I was thinking this was going to be the go. Wouldn't surprise me if Fuad told Gilco not to post after the whole show was done. Yeah, that may be true. That may be true. We'll see if AJ has anything up. AJ's usually he always has eyes on the ground. Oh, he's just posting. Perfect. Okay. So here's Martin. Now this is like a video from his TV, so it's definitely doing some things with his conditioning, but he was more conditioned than that, but I still expected a little bit more. I expected a little more dryness, especially with the upper body. The legs are separated and good from front to back. Glutes are striated, but his upper back is just not as neatly separated as the legs. And then here's good Veto. I mean, those structure poses, like he's coming out of the gate by just winning those first two poses, like against a lot of guys. He loses a little bit of ground from the back and from the side, but not by as much as you'd think. This looks like a 90s show, but in a good way. Yeah, exactly. Now here's Ron Gordon. He may be the one to take out Justin, to be completely honest. Whoa, close to the Iron Man line. Yeah, it exactly. It reminds you of those, the Iron Man. You know, not quite British Grand Prix levels, but it's in the same type of vibe. It's like they're posing in a void with perfect lighting. It looks good for sure. And then here's Justin, and it's just the same things. Waist maybe looks. I think he looks better than the Arnold, but I mean, at the Arnold he was like sniffing last place. So, and keep in mind, this is just from AJ's TV. It looked a lot better on the actual live stream. Like when you guys see videos of this, if you guys aren't watching already, you guys will definitely be very pleasantly surprised. Okay, now here's the initial call out they did, all six, and then they kept Good Vito and Martin in the center. And just take a look at how much Vito dominates these structure poses. Like look at that front lat spread. His lats may be a little high, but just like in terms of like shoulder to shoulder width, it's crazy. Side chest, I think he does lose a little bit of that density. He has a lot of width shoulder to shoulder, but Martin still probably has him there because his pecs are thicker and more detailed as well. And in the rear double, yeah, it's Martin, but like good Vito, he still impresses you in his own way. Now the rear lat spread has been interesting. Okay, now apparently AJ didn't get the rear lat spread. Who we got? I'm gonna say it may be good Vito, to be honest. I'm gonna stick with Martin, mainly to see the results of the poll. Can I vote? Can I vote? It's not gonna let me vote. Darn. Womp womp. Yeah, but did it have the rear lat spread in there? No, but the side tricep I would give to Martin as well. And the abs and thighs, that's an interesting one. Let me back it up again. Let me restart it. Because I want to pause on that one. That's an interesting pose for sure. I think Martin has it. I think Good Vito is just missing too much where he does miss. Like it's a blowout in the front. I'm sorry, it just is. Maybe not so much in the front lat. I mean, it's still a decisive win for Vito in my opinion. But I mean, Good Vito doesn't have the best back. He's missing that chest and shoulder density and thickness. Um, I don't know. Okay. Now, as you can see here, who would you guys give the abs and thighs to? I think this one, I'm kind of leaning towards Martin. Slightly better abs, and I like his legs too. And I think in this particular post, they look better than Good Vito's just because he's a bit taller, and now that he's filled out his legs, he has a little more to work with. Like, he just has the overall bigger legs. And I think in this particular pose, Martin's legs look better than Vito's. I'm not saying they're better as a whole, but they look better. Vito for me, I hate that split. Yeah, I can understand that. Abs and thighs, Martin. Martin's lats look a tiny bit bigger too. This is true. Martin, abs have the greater pop. Yeah, I would probably go with Martin. Greater sum of parts. Okay. And then most muscular. You could see what I mean about Good Vito missing the chest and shoulder density and detail. I'll pause it here. Okay. Just came in. What's it looking like for the top three right now, anyone? I would say Justin Ron Gordon in third, depending on how much Justin loses it at finals, because he probably will. And depending on how much the judges can get over Justin's waist, because he does have the size advantage on Ron Gordon, because he's like, Ron Gordon's taller, but in pound for pound muscularity, Justin is still huge. Martin does have better muscle bellies. In some ways, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Look at the chest and the shoulders region here. Martin's delts are just bigger, they're more popping, more separated from his arms. And the chest, it's night and day. Like, Martin's pecs are just so much thicker and more detailed. You can't really tell it here from this video, but definitely more detailed than Good Vito's. Good Vito's kind of just, like, flat. Why doesn't Good Vito try showing his striations in the abs and thighs? I think he does. I mean, he like, really flexes on that heel. Oh, yeah, he wasn't, though, this time around, was he? Yeah, maybe a little bit there. Yeah, you can see the striations there. If I were him, I would still continue to do both because his sweep is very good, but his striations are also very good. Could go back and forth so the judges can see both. Detroit Pro very cool and all, but when will we get a Dylan physique reveal? Probably June. I used to do workout videos on my channel. They're still up. They're still up. You can see. Okay. And then we have the Good Vito and Martin comparison here. So this was the top two. I don't see. The thing is, I don't think Justin nor who's the other one, Ron Gordon, have any chance of like getting close to the top two. So here's the front double. Martin looks good. That's a good X-ray. That is for sure a great X-ray. But Good Vito not only has the better arms, but look at that X-ray. It's like this is what Joel Thomas should have been. If you guys know who Joel Thomas is, current bodybuilder. Yeah, the lighting is for sure awesome. Best I've seen this year. Best I've seen in a couple of years, to be honest. If Dylan jumped into the Detroit Pro, I have him winning from behind. This is true. This much is true. I love both in the front double. Yeah, I really do. But Good Vito, he's just drawing my eye. I mean, both are pulling vacuums. Both have good X-frames. Martin's may even technically be better. Like, if we were to measure the actual, like, concave and convex areas of their physique, I think Martin may win on like the numbers if you could do that. But I'm just more wowed by Veto, I gotta be honest. And with the arms too, I'd give this to him. Martin is winning this the whole thing. I think once we go pose by pose, Martin is slightly ahead here, but I don't think he's out. Good Veto is out. Like I said, he's just missing a lot of things. But we'll go on to the next pose. So I'd give that to Good Veto. Yeah. And then in the front lat, Martin, even though Good Veto beats him in structure for sure, look how wide Good Veto is. Martin is so thickly developed. He has the thicker chest, delts, shoulders. The lats insert a little bit lower. They may not be wider, but they insert lower. So overall, his width is not as good. His taper is okay, but he just looks very thickly developed overall. Does Good Veto still win on his structure? I would say so. I think his lats are also pretty good, even though they're slightly high. I think he's very good in this pose. I think it could also tweak a little bit, but Martin is closer in this one than he was to than he was in the front double. Good Veto touched Martin, and Martin didn't even reciprocate, just ignored him. Yeah, Martin's an ass. Like, respectfully, it's just his personality. Um, like when they told Good Veto and Martin to return back to the line, like Martin just like sped out of there. Like I thought they had gotten in an altercation and Martin had left the stage, to be honest. Like how fast Martin was leaving. Martin is just, I get it, he's fired up, but it's not just when he's on stage. He's kind of always an ass. Vito's winning the front lat too. I would agree. Martin is closer here though. Like the amount of muscle this dude is carrying is pretty crazy. Sorry. I'm gonna do that famous project bodybuilding production value and just write down who I have winning the certain poses. So front double was Good Veto. Front lat spread, Good Veto. Let's move on to the side chest. Martin did a personality reveal. Oh man, when was it? A little after the Arnold Pro, like he said, Andrew looked like a bag of chocolate milk, and also he said some other things too. Like he's a younger guy, so it's whatever, and he's also like a little bit of a redneck. Like he's from out in Wyoming, dropped out of high school. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he did. That's not even the joke. I'm pretty sure in an interview he said he dropped out of high school. Um, so he's definitely doing good in terms of a bodybuilding. But I think he needs to. I don't know. I think he just needs to maybe be a bit more mature. Okay. And this is the side chest. I would give this to Martin. His side leg is bigger. Good Vito's maybe a little more separated and dry. And you can't really see because of the sheen coming off of AJ's TV. Um, but the pecs, the delts, everything on Martin was more detailed. And you could just see here the pecs are just more, they're just bigger on Martin. They're just bigger. Martin wins the side chest. His pecs are absolutely smoke Good Vito's. Yeah, Good Vito has a couple weaknesses, like I said. Posing for one. The back, and then the chest and shoulders region. It just looks soft and underdeveloped looking. So I'd give that to Martin. Let's go to the rear double. Hopefully AJ has all these poses. AJ said he got Martin. He's got Martin. Okay, so part of Martin's arm is getting cut off here, but I think we can just tell in the backs there's just a different level of density and thickness in Martin's. I don't think we need to go over this too much. Even though the lower body's pretty solid, pretty separated, pretty big, I would still have Good Veto in the upper and the lower body just because I've never seen anything like that. But I think Martin head to toe with the better back definitely wins this pose. Now the rear lat spread is where it gets a little bit interesting. Hopefully, that is like the one plus I want to talk about. So hopefully AJ does have this. Who do you guys have winning the rear lat spread? Because structurally, Good Vito's very good. Is he as thick as Martin? No, but that's not really what we want in this pose. We want the width, we want the fullness. But Martin is, off to the side a little bit, so I think he's pretty wide too. I think he is wider than Good Vito, staying next to each other, because Good Vito is a little bit shorter than him. But in terms of like proportional width, I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, yeah, loves to smoosh. He also said Nick Walker was going to die. Seth dropped him for Axe and Sledge. Yes, I do remember he did get dropped from Axe and Sledge, but I couldn't remember the reason. I knew it wasn't for the bag of milk comment. I knew it was for something a little worse, but I remember that's what it was. He said Nick's gonna throw a clot or something. Hmm. I'm gonna move on. We'll come back to this one. Martin's got to be my favorite racist. Period. In terms of bodybuilding, there's not a whole lot of racists to go around, but yeah, he's kind of like the de facto. Second is only to Dylan. Extremely racist. Okay. Side tricep. This is another even more clear than it was for Martin in the side chest. Good Vito's whole physique is just completely like is so thin from the side. His pecs don't have that density, like I've been saying, and his triceps just completely they're just skinny. It's just the actual genetic shape of his horseshoe. And Martin, bigger pecs, bigger side leg. I'm not necessarily saying better. Um, Probably hitting it better too. Good Vito should stop tilting to the front so much and try to stack his pecs and other joints and try to look as big as possible from the side angle. Damn, and I'm black. I gotta see the footage. No, he was like when after he got off the Arnold UK stage, he was like, "I got beaten by a bag of chocolate milk," because he was referring to Andrew Jacked, who had beaten him with lackluster conditioning. And I think he said some other things too. I'm not entirely sure though. I definitely can't remember them. So I have Martin on the side tricep here. And we already discussed the abs and thighs, but we'll go through it again. Hopefully, if AJ has it. Yeah, it's basically what someone said earlier. Um, Martin's abs have more pop to them, and I like his legs too. I'm not saying they're better than Good Vito's, but in this particular pose, I really like them. They're big, they're separated. And keep in mind, this is just from a TV. If you saw the actual live stream, you would see how good these guys are. I encourage everyone to, if they can't afford the live stream or whatever, try to find the actual Gilco footage of this because it was crazy. Props to Fuad for putting on a good show. Kuba from the UK showed a little bit of prejudice in a podcast once. It's kind of sad. I don't like Kuba, or yeah, I think it's Kuba regardless because I think he's kind of a dickhead. I gotta be honest. Vito has birthing legs from the back. That's true. Two young guns with a lot of potential for sure. Vito wins this one too. I'm fine with either guy winning this one, to be honest. I would personally have Martin. If this was classic, I'd probably go with Veto. But since this is open, I kind of like Martin's a little more developed abs more. So I'm giving Martin the abs and thighs. He can also pull vacuum too, but so can Vitaly. Oh, I don't think. And then for the most muscular, I don't think it's going to be in this one. So we'll go back to here. Yes. And then after this. I just want to reiterate, because I do have Martin winning the most muscular, I just want to reiterate why. Look at the amount of pop, roundness, density in Martin's chest, shoulders. Good Veto's pecs are just flat, no detail. The pecs are not as round too. I would have Martin the most muscular pretty easily. Dylan, learn to use your notes app. No. There's nothing wrong with a good old pen and paper. Martin front lat. Okay, this guy says Martin wins the front lat, both side shots, abs, back double, and most muscular. That's pretty close to what I have. I would drop the front lat out of that. And I'd go 50-50 on the, 60-40 on the abs and thighs. Most of these poses are kind of close. Martin will win with straight first. It's possible. It's certainly possible, because that doesn't mean it's not close either, but I don't think he's going to win. I don't think either guy's going to win with straight first. Save environment, Morgan. Martin, future Mr. Rowe. I wouldn't go that far. I think he's an Olympia contender for sure. The fact that he hasn't improved, like in this year off, if it was like a Samson level transformation, I would say yeah, absolutely. But it's not quite on that level. Does he have weak points? I mean, the arms, but maybe a little bit. But they definitely, everything came up. Does he have weak points? No. Is he on the smaller side? He's not the smallest in the show for sure, but he may be on the smaller side. Amazing lighting on the actual live stream for sure. Martin got this. Good battle. Maybe there's some official Gilco footage out now. Maybe. Yeah, I didn't think so. Maybe HA has some screenshots. Anyone has some screenshots? Fernando Arroyo? Do you have some screenshots? Here we go. So, is this every shot? Close. It's 4 of them. So, Martin's weak points, his brain. Okay, but it's not really judged here. But you can see what I mean. Martin looks like a chemo patient. He's 10 years younger than the Samson. That is true. And you guys, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I did a video of my top 7 or 8 bodybuilders that I'm most looking forward to in 2024. At the top 2 of that list, I had Martin and Quentin Beastwood. Martin actually topped my list because I said he's taking a year off, he's great, he's hungry. I think he has everything he needs, he just needs to be bigger. And yes, did he get bigger? Sure. I still think he has some work to do. I don't know. I think he can get an Olympia qualification, even if he doesn't get it here for some reason, which I'm expecting him to get the Olympia qualification from the show. I think he can get it elsewhere. Good Veto, I can't really say the same about, because like I said, he just has more weak points. It just is what it is. Is the finals on the same day too? Yes, finals, it says 5 p.m. on the poster, but they have amateurs before then. So it may be like 6:37. If the uncrowned Honor Brazil winner, William, was here, it'd be game over. You know, the funniest thing is, William was supposed to be at the show. And it's really unfortunate. Like, he committed. I have this poster. John De La Rosa was supposed to be at the show. Competitor. The Detroit Bro would like to welcome William Martins to the show. It's going to be a deep lineup with some great bodybuilders. Like, Martins was supposed to be here is the funniest thing. I think Martin doesn't need to do a vacuum for his front double. Well, Yeah, because especially next to a guy like Good Vito, who just has the wider rib cage, it makes Martin's vacuum look narrow. Martin will be a whole different beast with grainy muscle maturity in his 30s. You feel me? I think so. He may not be the top body. I'm still waiting on Quint. I think Quint's looking great. But yeah, Good Vito and Martin were both in my top bodybuilders to look forward to in 2024. I had Good Vito back on the list, like seventh, because I was like, I don't know if I believe the hype. You know, he's an Instagram bodybuilder right now. He hasn't proved himself, but he did prove himself at the Arnold South America, and he's proven himself here for sure. William was literally one of the hardest workers in Brazil. Genetics was just not as good to him. Respect, my man. Martin has the popping abs. He should stick to that. I'm Team Milos. I'm fine with a vacuum in the front shots. I'm not okay with the vacuum in the abs and thighs. No, Martin does have a narrower rib cage. His rib cage is less rounded at the top than Good Vito's, and I like to see a Good Vito type of mid cage rib cage more. Because Martin has a smaller rib cage, but he does have big lats. But imagine if he had big lats and a big rib cage, i.e., Good Vito. Everyone does vacuums in the front double these days, but Milos thinks they should do abs from the front double too. Um, it's basically, I think it's down to personal preference in those front shots. Like for a Charles Griffin, like I would borderline mandate, hey, you need to do the vacuum because whatever you're bringing there is atrocious. Or like a William Martin's thing. Nick Walker said he isn't going to do the abs and thighs, and that's the other thing. Um, he should Nick Walker should always do crunched to semi crunched for the front double. I kind of like where he does like lift up, but he's still kind of like keeping the abs like out. He's kind of like pushing them out a little bit, so he still like shows the development. It's not a full vacuum. But yeah, everybody should, in my opinion, just stick to what they want in the front double. We'll see it in the abs and thighs rather. So good abs are always better than a good vacuum, especially in open. I would say. I don't know if that's always applicable in like a classic physique division, but in the open for sure, I agree with you. How tall are these dudes? I think Martin's like a little over like 5'8", and Good Vito's like 5'7". Let's see. Yeah, so no actual videos out. There were a couple on Fernando's channel. I will check back with AJ actually. Yeah, no videos. Okay. Let's go back to Fernando. And we do have something like this. This is just the individual presentation. I think Ramon, for example, gets better in the vacuum shot than clenched abs because he doesn't know how to contract his obliques. That's fair. Make sure you guys like the stream and subscribe too, by the way. Join the discussion. Hop in here. Maybe check Martin's profile and tag pics. Yeah, let me check the tagged. Nope, the top post is my own. I will check Good Vitos because those Brazilian fans share a lot of things very quickly. But I'm looking for these HD things. What is this? Okay, here we go. Kimberly Ugonikov. Is this his wife? It must be. But she had this video out. Okay. Jeez. Bro. But you could see how good the lighting is here. Even in this far off video that's... Yeah, it's from the actual stream. It's still, like, very, very good quality. Your logic would say Ramon's vacuum looks better than Chris's. And no, it doesn't. It's not even close. Bro, what? Logan Franklin also has an amazing vacuum. You know why? His rib cage is small. I've seen better. Like Chris Bumstead. Big Martin fan, but Good Vito's vibe on stage is awesome. Good Vito lost last week because of his posing. I really don't know who I got. I probably have Martin leading here just by a little bit. Good Vito just has too many flaws. Okay. Live link. Well, the live's over right now. It won't be back on until 5. Bro, this is literally the best bodybuilding stream I can remember. Fuad is the man of the world. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that no one else wanted to do this, though. Like, we were never going to have the best show because, like, at the timing of the year, but we could have had James Hollingshead. We could have had Tony O'Burton. We could have had John De La Rosa, who committed to the show but then pulled out. Okay. Ramon has the wider rib cage, the one you like. Does he? Does he really? I don't think so. Chris Bumstead is like dwarfing him on stage, but Chris Bumstead also has the much wider lats and shoulders. So it's kind of like medium rib cage, big lats. Who has more potential, Martin or Veto? Honestly, at this point, long term, I may have to go with Veto. I think in the next recent 2 to 3 years, I'd say Martin for sure. But over the course of the career, maybe good Veto as long as he can bring up his back. I want to see how he improves, but currently he's improving. Olympia needs to hire Gilco for the live stream. That is like a drop in the bucket for what the Olympia needs to do. I agree, but oh man, there's so much that they need to do. I heard that Tonio wanted to do the show, but he was too late. That is true. So he tried to pin it on Tyler Mannion because he was like, I decided I want to do the show, tried to jump in at the last minute, but he said, Tyler said, well, there's a rule, and this rule is true. Tyler didn't just pull it out of his ass. The rule is you have to be in the show, committed, signing the contract to the show, at least a week before the show. This prevents guys from just jumping in last minute when they see a weak show, which is basically unsportsmanlike conduct, basically. But they don't want guys jumping in at the last minute. You know, they want showrunners to be more organized, and there's a couple of smaller reasons that they don't want you to jump in at the last minute. So Tonio does try to jump in at the last minute because him and his coach thought they were going to win the Arnold Brazil, and they said, oh, we're not going to do that. We're going to jump into New York for sure, but we're not going to do the Detroit Pro because we're going to win the Arnold Brazil. Fortunately, they didn't win the Arnold Brazil, so now they're in a position where they're not going to win New York either. If he can't beat Raphael, it's just an objective fact that he's not going to beat Nick. Then he'll probably have to do the Cali Pro. But yeah, he tried to pin this on Tyler, saying, oh, it's all up to Tyler now. It's really not. Not good video. Tonio should have jumped into the show early, and then if he did win, pull out. John De La Rosa pulled out. William Martin's pulled out. There's no reason. The IFBB doesn't punish you anymore for pulling out of shows. So there's no reason not to sign up early. Chris Bumstead has a large ribcage, small waist. Yes, it's all about the contrast. The contrast, yeah. They should have just given Tonio a pass for this one, just because the lineup was small. But then they kind of have to do that for everyone. I see why they wouldn't, because we will run into these things more. So yeah, if you don't want to open that can of worms, I get it. But, you know, deep down as a fan, I definitely wanted them to give him the pass because I wanted to see the show just get even bigger. But at the same time, just as a purely rules-oriented person, it's you can't just open that can of worms. Okay. I'll check one more time to see if Martin has anything tagged. Oh, sorry, I accidentally clicked on the legend. Not that Martin's. Martin Fitzwater. Yeah. There's this. That's about it. Okay, I think I will probably end the stream now. Um, any other questions, comments, concerns before we head out here? If anything, I probably have Martin winning just because on the basis of he does win more mandatories when I went pose by pose, but also Good Veto just lacks some things. Martin is pretty complete top to bottom. Um, Good Vito's missing the chest detail. He has a skinnier tricep. He has a very poor rear double. So Martin, you can't really pick a thing out like, oh, his arms. Eh, yeah, he's still winning the side tricep and is okay in the front double. Good Vito wins that one anyway. Hey, yo, where did the Brazilians come? You know, you just mentioned Good Vito or any kind of Brazilian bodybuilder, or no, someone was mentioning Ramon. I think we were mentioning Ramon. So, yeah, they just come out of the woodwork. But yeah, make sure you guys come back for finals roughly. I'm going to say 6:30. It does technically the show starts at 5, but they still got amateurs to go through. And they have every single amateur division. They only have men's open. But they have every single amateur division going on before open. So I imagine this will be around 6:30, 7:30 if they don't run late. Somewhere in that ballpark, 6:30 or 7, excuse me. So yeah, guys, come back. I'm gonna put out the second live stream. Make sure you hit notify me so that way you know when I'm going live the next time. Veto all the way. My brown friend called you a good gringo, Dylan. That's great. I'm glad I'm getting international appeal. The most reasonable gringo of YouTube. That, you know, that's very kind of you to say. Tonio, the enemy of private bathrooms. True. True. Okay. I think that's going to do it for me right now. So, to recap, TLDR, Martin slightly winning, not by much. Will probably not be a perfect score. I see Good Vito as the one with slightly more flaws. He could definitely win this though based on the structure, and if the IFBB definitely wants to go with structure above all else, we may see a Good Veto win here. I'm not saying it's not impossible. I may even like his condition more. So there's certainly arguments for both guys to win. Martin maybe a little more complete. But we saw at the Arnold Brazil. I thought Tony was a little more complete, but I still had Raphael winning. This time, it could be the same thing. Good Veto, less complete, he could win. Martin, more complete, could win. I think the judges are different, so we may get a different outcome just based on that. Who knows? We poop shaming now. True. Okay, well, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to head out. Make sure you guys like the stream. Subscribe if you haven't already, so that way you're notified when I go live later tonight and for all my other streams. And that's going to do it for me. Let me make sure everything Yep. I expect to be live around, like I said earlier, what did I say earlier? 6:30, 7. I'm gonna put my next stream up for 6:30. We'll see if they're on at 6:30. We'll see. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Like the stream, subscribe for more, so that way you get notified, and I'll see you guys in the next stream.